Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's Alice with Sage Leaf Studio, and I am kind of am I being reminiscent? I don't know. I was looking through my shelves and I have so many Stamperia sets that I've just sort of wandered away from, I guess. It's funny because I get them and I'm like so excited, and right away I'll make, one or two things out of them, and then I shelve them and I kind of forget about them. And I came across this cute little, I don't know, I'd call it a folio. It's not really a journal, but a folio that I did put like a kind of created a little pad of paper and sewed it in there. But it's just the cutest little thing, and it's made from the collection called Rose Parfum. I don't know, Parfum, but anyway, all Frenchy and all that good stuff. But I, just kind of dug it out and was looking at it and thinking about, I have so many good pieces from this set. This is the 8 by 8 set, and I think they make it in a 12 by 12, and I think they make it in a 6 by 6. I could be wrong on both of those, but I can look that up. But anyway, I was just thinking about, I think I've already, like given away something that I made out of the set. And then I made this little guy, which, he's kind of cute. It's a little trifold. And it's one piece that I cut. I cut this section off the top, and I'll show you that in a minute. So there's this and then this. So this was the top of this piece, if you can see that. So yeah, so that's all it was. And then all the cute little embellishments and things. There's a lot of little tags and stuff. um, and I had this paper, so I just made some little tuck pockets. But it has so many, as you can see, of these cute little cutouts, tags, little, sayings, signs, labels from like perfume stuff for perfume bottles. There's all kinds of little squares and different. I could cut that up actually, but I don't want to. It's kind of pretty that way. But there's little squares. There, I still have a bunch of tags. I don't even have a tag this size in this thing because this is so tiny and petite that this really wouldn't work. It might, if to tuck it, it would be interesting, but it probably wouldn't work. But these sweet little tags. Here's one that looks like an actual tag. And there's a few things. I was going to say there's a few things that I haven't cut out yet. But honestly, I think on this set, it's only just, I don't know if you can see it for the glare, but these little tiny, I think they're like petals or something that are in the bag that I keep this set in. And I haven't ever cut those out because I think I'm losing them when they're that size. And when I cut them smaller, it's really going to be a pain. So I'm not sure what I would use them for yet. But anyway, I made this little folio, and it's real cute, and it's got a few pockets, and I did make a more like a tag, like a bookmark tag, with using some other things. This is a piece from the set, but the rest of it is just some other papers and stuff that I had. And I think that this base of this tag is also the same paper that I used for these tuck pockets. So anyway, I thought it was really cute, and I was just thinking about it and got it out, and I was thinking, I need to make some more stuff. This has so many good pieces in it. So I was thinking, I don't know. I always try to have everything have a story, and I was thinking, well, how sweet this would be if it was just in a little, a lady's purse, and she wanted to write some notes, or what if it was like a dance card? But I don't think that's how dance cards work. But what if you, you wrote down your dances for the night and filled up whoever you're dancing with, and then you tore this piece away and you can use this again for the next dance you go to. Sure, because we all go to dances like that. Anyway, I thought it was pretty sweet, and I'm gonna try to make something else. I may actually make another one of these because it might be a little different. I might make it a more like a journal instead of a folio, but with some with a signature in it. But I don't want it to be too big or whatever. I just want it to be dainty because this is really small. So it ended up being, it was from an 8x8, but the top measures, let me get over here and measure. The top measures a little over 5 inches. And then when it's closed, it's only, it's like 2.25 inches wide. So anyway, it's just dainty and sweet and cute and very florally and rosy. And if you ever have anybody who loves roses like my mother, I should make her something out of this. I've made her a few things out of different florally sets that I have, but maybe I'll make her something out of this. Anyway, but that's, I was just thinking about my Stamperia sets and how they go to the wayside and get lost and don't get used. And I've got a few other pieces I may show you at the end that I've just recently pulled some things out and made. I made a birthday. Well, I can't show you that until after the person's birthday because they follow me and I'm afraid they'll see it and it's a surprise. So anyway, but I made a cute little birthday journal for them. Anyway, so I'm going to gather all this up and then I'm going to look things over and see what I want to make out of it. So there you go. I have to laugh at myself because so when I gathered everything up, oh, these are scraps from cutting up from before, but I always keep everything. You never know, belly bands and such. But anyway, when I was gathering everything up and setting it aside, I thought, well, I'll just put everything in, little categories so I'll know, what everything is. And so all the little tags with, phrases or words or whatever I put together here. So that's those. And then I've got all these tiny, tiny, these are more like like labels off of, perfume bottles or lotion or whatever. And so they're all in their own little pile. Look at how tiny this piece is. It's so tiny, I'm afraid I'm going to lose it. Can you even see it? Anyway, so I've got that in a pile. And then I'm thinking, you know what? When I get done, I'm going to throw this all back in one bag together in this bag and it's all going to be a mess again. So whatever. But anyway, I was trying to be neat. So these are the pages that I have left over from the set, and that is gorgeous. And I'm always trying to think of if I'm going to fold something, how's it going to land? Sometimes, the more interesting thing is would end up on the back side of a fold. So that kind of makes me crazy. But these are really set up in a good way. So this, could be the front. And this could even be, I could kind of create it like I did the other one where I cut it off at a certain point, and I'm going to leave that there for inspiration. And then I can still use the other part of it as a folio inside, a fold inside, or it could even be on the outside. And this could certainly be the outside. That would be pretty. And then to open it and see that. And I hate covering up this kind of stuff. So probably I would make this the outside. But what if you took or this is pretty down here. I could cut it this way and then use this, and it could be on the outside, but then it would cover that up. Sort of. If I only glue it in the center, then the flaps are still going to show that way. I don't know. Anyway, I just thought this was pretty. So this one is pretty. It's kind of collagey. I don't know if I would necessarily. I'm thinking that you know, it might be that you cut off these, maybe these two pieces, and you could then make a, you know, a smaller folio, or maybe it's really tiny. Maybe you also cut off this, then you have this image, and then you have these two things. I don't know what, well, you could use that as a band, but then look at this side. That's so pretty. I love that one too. So, I don't know. This one, I'm not as crazy about the colors. There's not a lot of, well, there's quite a bit of purple in the set, but not as much as, you know, the pinks and the blues and the greens and stuff. So, but this is pretty, and it, you know, it's definitely got a, you know, cut here if you needed to, or not, and cut here and make a large tag. And it's kind of plain on the inside, which can be a good thing, because for people like me who don't want to cover up beautiful things, I'm okay with covering this up, is what I'm saying. This is even gorgeous. So like that. And then this is real pretty. And then it's a little bit softer. It's got a lot of greens. Love this. See, those little bitty tiny things that I hadn't cut out yet are like this. They're tiny little petals from the flowers and roses and stuff. And I'm not sure. You know, just use them for definition, I guess. Maybe, you know, kind of like a three-dimensional or two-dimensional at least image. Anyway, but that's pretty. So I'm not sure, but I'm kind of feeling like I want to use this one. I don't know, just because it's got the roses and it's just, yeah, so it's got that. I'm thinking maybe that's the way to go if I wanted to cut it. But also I could just make it a folio like that, or a journal like that. And then that's, you know, at the back, but that's okay. I don't know. I gotta think about it. Anyway, I'm gonna decide and then come back with some stuff and figure out how to put it together. Okay, so I did it. I cut it, and I decided I'm just gonna go kind of basic with this. I am gonna make it a journal, and it's not gonna be huge or anything. I did use this piece of paper, so I had to score it. I wanted to score it. So this is what it's going to look like. Okay, and I'm going to use, so I had cut the bottom off of it because I thought that was so pretty and that we could use it. So I'm actually gonna, I folded it just to look, but I'm not gonna leave it folded like that. I'm thinking that I'm gonna maybe make a belly band out of this piece. I'm going to cut it in half and cut it down a little bit so that I can glue it on the inside of these two insides. And then I'm not sure about this piece. It might become a tuck pocket. I don't know. I have, you know, some of those larger cards that I can stick in here, but I'm probably also going to somewhere put a smaller tuck pocket to put some of those littler tags and different things in and on. So anyway, that's what I'm gonna do. And I just got through tea staining some copy paper the other day. It's not like I don't already have some, but I just had some leftover. What was I? Oh, I was tea staining some playing cards. That sometimes works and sometimes doesn't. Anyway, I had some leftover tea, you know, sitting there, and I thought, well, you know what, I'll just throw some old copy paper in there, and I did. And it was actually this size, but I cut it down so that it could go in here. So remember, this is, no, you don't remember because I didn't tell you. So I cut this down to 6 inches. And so I cut my paper down to like 5 3/4. So just so it's not showing up, it'll probably stick out depending on how, no, it won't. That's right. I did it this way. So it's got a little bit of leeway over here. So it's not going to poke out. Anyway, but I didn't want to make it too fat. I'll probably tie a ribbon around it. On the one that I made, I didn't have to. It kind of just holds itself flat. It's kind of nice. Sometimes you just get them so chunky that they want to, you know, they want to do that. But this one just lays nicely, so I never felt like I had to put a ribbon around it or a latch of any kind. So I don't know. But anyway, we'll see how this one comes out, but it may have to get a ribbon or something wrapped around it. So anyway, that's where I'm at. So I'm gonna start working on getting um, my pieces cut up and get my signature ready to put in. And then I think it's just a matter of a bunch of inking and gluing and, getting it ready. So it's going to be a simple, simple one. I hope. That's the plan. Okay, so I got all that taken care of, and I'm going to do this for a tag holder, and I think these cute little cards, tags, are going to be what's going to go in there. I'm going to do two. So I may go ahead and do a small one up here. And I forgot to show you this really sweet little piece that comes with the set. It's an envelope, and I've already put it together. I guess I've already inked it and everything. Maybe I thought I was going to use it in a previous thing, but anyway, it's a sweet little envelope uh, that you can make with the set. And isn't that just the cutest little thing? It could go in there too. Anyway, I made this a belly band, and so I'm going to make a larger tag out of something else that's going to go in here using some of the things from the set, but I don't have anything big unless I start cutting up the 8x8s. And I could to make a something like a bookmark or whatever. But anyway, but look at how cute that is. That is so cute. Anyway, I don't know if I'll use it in this or not, but I just thought that was pretty. So anyway, I need to get busy gluing this down, and so it can be drying. And I need to go back around and round my corners on my book, on my main pages, my cover. I need to do that and ink that. As soon as this is dry, yeah, so I'm going to put it down here because, again, I may just do another little tuck pocket above it, just to house, maybe one of these other little pieces that are so sweet. Let me scoot that over just a hair because I don't want to get into the spine of this. But, this is kind of, it's kind of like back to the basics kind of stuff. Is that crooked? I think I'm crooked. It's a little crooked. Let me do this. There we go. Yeah, I think I feel like I need to put a little more glue in there. But anyway, I feel like it's kind of just, a back to the basics kind of thing. If you've worked with Stamperia products for a long time or have known about them for a long time, I was reading up about them the other day, just because I like to kind of know like where my stuff's coming from and what what the history is of some of these companies. Ow, I did just stab myself. But just to kind of know, what's going on with them and where they originated and how it all came about. And anyway, they're um, Italian, and so where was I going with that? anyway, I was looking them up because I wanted to know, what was the story. Oh, I was going to say they've been around since like 1988, I think. And of course, I had small children. Actually, I didn't even have two small children. I had one small child at that point, and I was not doing this. I'll guarantee you that. I was busy with other things. So, but they've been around for a while, and it's just awesome to see, how much they've evolved and all the different sets and things. And this is not a plug for them, and they're not sponsoring this or anything. They don't know me. I am so low on the totem pole of these kinds of things. But I think their products are good quality products, and people really enjoy them, and people all over the world using them. I think they said they sell in 60 countries across the land. So anyway, yeah, I did kind of stab myself there, but anyway, I'm not bleeding too bad. So yeah, so this is looking good. So these are going to work here. I think just, maybe two of these cute little note cards. That's what I would call them, because I think they lend to, you could, write a little note and give it to somebody. You could use it as a gift tag. I know people are always like, what do you do with all this little stuff? Well, you do whatever you want to do. That's the thing. Or you just, hoard it up and look at it and get it out and look at it and put it back. But yeah, I love it. So, and I'm going to go ahead and get these ready because there's really not much to do to these. I've already cut these out, and I'm marveling at how much fussy cutting I did when I first got this set. Normally, when I get these sets, well, in the beginning, I used to try to go ahead and cut up everything I thought that I would use. I might leave things a little larger just to trim down, or if I wasn't sure, I'd leave some things together, kind of like how I showed you those. Let's see if I can find them. Like there's some pieces where there's uh, some bottles sitting together, and I don't think I want to cut those down to the individual things. I think I'm going to use it somehow like this, maybe. But I could. I still could cut it down, and that's okay. But used to be so good about, I'd get the set and I'd go ahead and start cutting everything up. And, that way it's ready to go. You don't have to like stop and go cut something up, and then you've kind of lost your mojo, or you kind of decide, oh, I'm going to actually do something different anyway, or whatever. But the last couple of sets that I got, I noticed that I have not done that. I've been like, there are a lot of pieces that haven't been cut, and it's kind of sad because then I'm like, am I ever going to get around to doing it? And I probably will. It'll probably be, something that I'll do maybe in the winter time. Oh yeah, I have not given you the weather report yet for today. So it's very hot. This is early morning. I'm already done being outside. I took care of watering, and I had to tend to some unruly plants. It's not their fault they're unruly. It's so hot. Everything's just in survival mode at this point. North Texas, the end of July, it's, oh God, it's just so, and the humidity's back, so we have that to deal with. So it's nice to be done and be inside in the AC and doing this, and I can look out the window and see it, but I don't have to feel it, so that's important. So anyway, that was your weather report for today. I know you wanted to know. All right, so these are done. Did I do both sides? I think I did. So those are so sweet. Look at how sweet. Look at the little birdie. That is so cute. I love it. So those are going to go in there. So I'm just sticking those in there for now. Well, actually, I think I better go ahead and decide what I'm doing with this guy. So I kind of want to make it a little dainty. So I think I'm going to use my fancier rounders. So I'm going to go, and I've got a little, whoa, I've got a little leeway. Look at me doing two at once, doing the front and the back together. That could come back and be a problem, but it doesn't appear it's going to be this time. But anyway, I think I left enough. Oh, come on now. There we go. I left enough leeway for the pages to not Yeah, they might show a little bit. That's okay though. Yeah, I could round those, but I don't want to. Anyway, we'll see how it looks. I'll look before I sew the signature in just to make sure it's not completely hokey. And you know what? I just found something underneath my huh, underneath my pad here. I don't know what I was doing with that, but anyway. Okay, so let's just see real quick how that will look. I don't think it's going to make a difference. And I need to get these folded better. I just kind of folded them all over together, so I've got to go back and do some good creases on these here pages. I can always just use my fingernail. So I got that one done, and in this case I like to do them each one at a time. It's a little more laborious, but I think it makes sense when you're trying to really have a good crease. That one's kind of got a hairy cut there on the bottom, and I'm okay with that. And look at how that one did. It's like the sediment, I guess, from the tea. Makes these great designs. I just love that kind of schmudgy stuff. So that makes me happy. Yeah, I don't. That was the first time I tried to tea stain playing cards, and yeah, there were the glossy kind, and I don't know. They did okay. I thought they would just look a little bit more, a little better. I probably should have roughed them up before I started in on them, but they're okay. I don't even. I had one little project that I needed one for, so I did that and stuck the others away until another day. So yeah. So okay. All right. So these are looking good. Like that. Okay. All right. I got those ready to go. So, lest we forget that I am supposed to be inking now before I go any further, because I want to make sure, well, this is probably not going to show much, but it might show a little bit. I don't know, but with the signature, it really shouldn't much, but I wanted to make sure and get all these lovely corners done. We're doing that. Okay, there's that. And I love how this color paper just takes the ink so well, and it just it just makes it pop and just really goes well with it. So love that. So back to my signature, and I could round these. Should I round these? I don't really wanna. I don't want to, but now I'm feeling like everything's kind of rounded, and maybe they should be rounded. Let me get these put back together so I can see what I'm doing here. Doesn't really matter. Okay, I think I ended up with, what, 6 pages? Is that correct? I do believe one. I didn't want to make it huge, so 3, 4, 5, 6. So, 12 pages essentially, since it's double that. Yeah, really, okay. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be real cocky here, and I'm going to take half of these, maybe, and I'm just going to barely round just the spine end, if you will. Yeah, that's better. So I'm using the medium rounding size here. Yeah. But I'm not gonna do the other side because it's not going to show, and that's okay. So put these back together again. I've had them so many different ways, but it doesn't matter. I didn't have any ideas or predetermined notion about which page was going to be where because they're all cool looking and kind of the same looking, and that's okay. So there we go. So that's going to be how that's going to look. And I'm still not thinking that I'm ready to sew it yet, so I will do that soon. But I'm going to go off and look for something to put in here, and I'm going to find something to make a little tuck pocket for up here. Now I could use that little thing, but I don't want to cover up this. No, we're not using that. Ooh, but I could make one of those. I have some things that I could make a little bitty envelope looking tuck pocket. Okay, I'm going to go look and see what I've got. Okay, I came up with a couple of ideas about the tuck pocket that I want to make for up here. And I'm thinking, so I've got this pad. Isn't this sweet? It's a little pad of paper. I guess when Joann's went out of business, a lot of different stores ended up with their stuff. And so this went to an Ollie's, and we are fortunate to have an Ollie's in our town. So I nabbed a bunch of these pads. They were only $1.99. I need to do a whole video on using these because I've already used several out of this book, but they just have some really sweet little pages, and they're 6x6, and you can see they have a little hole there for like displaying, hanging on a display at the store. But you cut that off, and you still have a 6x6, so that hole doesn't affect your 6x6 measurement. So look at the bees. Well, they're upside down, but isn't that sweet? So I've used several pages out of here, but I also have this, and this also came from Ollie's, and it was also $1.99, and it's a pastels pad, and it's double-sided, so that's always nice too. But it's got tons of card in here that's just a smaller, let's see, 4.5 by 6.5 inch. So that's nice. So I grabbed this, which has some things I might not ever use, but on the other side is this kind of peachy pink color, and I thought that that might look good with this. It goes a little peach, but it's not bad. But then I found this, which is a little more pink, and I think that might be better served here. So, and I'm fine with it just being plain because I can embellish it. So I'm going to cut that down and get it ready and kind of decide like maybe what are some of the things I'm going to stick in it, because I have some round pieces cut out. I have these smaller little cards that could go in there. So maybe some of those. I don't know. But I'm going to cut it down and get it ready and glue it on and get it to where I could just make it the same size, I guess, as this one. Then I could fit more in there. I don't know, but maybe I want to go a little bit smaller. Okay, we'll see. Okay, so that went well. That's easy peasy, and that's what we're looking for today is easy peasy. The only thing I'm having trouble with is my glue keeps getting stopped up, and I have stabbed myself. So if that's the worst of it, I guess I'm doing pretty good. So anyway, I wanted to check out these little cards here. Like I said, this one's really sweet. It could go in there. There's this one. Okay, I'm using these two, so I don't want to get anything that looks too much like them. That's sweet. Well, they're all sweet. I'm just going to keep saying that. This one's got a perfume bottle. That one's kind of different. Maybe. That's pretty. I like that. This one's also got a little perfume bottle. Maybe I should use these two since these have, well, that one's, I don't know that that's a perfume bottle, but it's a vase, but this has perfume bottles. So maybe I should be in keeping with that and use more. I don't know. This one's not my favorite, so maybe I want to do something more like this. And this is beautiful, but it also matches that other paper that I didn't use. So I might want to keep it out and use it for something to do with that. So, and here's yellow. Well, that's kind of pretty, and that'd be different. Maybe that's what I should do. And it says perfume. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to use these little guys, and they need to be, so when I cut them, I just straight cut them. I didn't cut exactly up to the edge of them, and I didn't cut the corners because I knew I'd probably come back with my rounder, which I am going to do that and just round them. And I'm not worried about if there's a little bit of edge showing because I'm going to ink it, and it won't matter because it won't really show. So there's that one, and there's that one, and I just keep using mostly the small one, and that's what I used again to round my edges. I forgot that I got into the bottom of this tuck pocket when I edged my main booklet papers, and I'm okay with that. Look at it. It made it real pretty, and it made it kind of stick out there and be different. So yeah, I like that. Anyway, okay, so I've got these and they're ready to go. So I just need to put a little ink on there. Ta-da. Okay, I'm liking that. Look at how cute those are. Just some cute little tucks, little tuck ins. Okay, I'm taking them back out again. But I wanted to see what they look like, and so I did. But now I'm thinking I want to embellish this because it's a little plain, which is not bad, but you know, we've got all this fabulous stuff. I even have some things, you know, like little birdies that I didn't finish. I didn't finish cutting right up against them, but I like these little saying things here. I think I like this, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to gather up my little pile here and pretend like it's not going to get thrown all together later on. Okay, and honestly, I don't have to round everything. I like that this has sort of got its own little squared off edge. So I am just going to ink it. And I could make it its own little tuck pocket, but my gosh, I could tuck like a tiny, tiny little thing in it. No, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to glue the whole thing down. And it's just going to be there on that tuck pocket, living its life. I think we're going with it right there. Anyway, my little notch. But I think I got it pretty centered. I think so. And now this looks kind of centered. I think so. So I like that. Okay. So really, I was going off to look for something to make a larger tag that I could tuck into that belly band on the back right here. So what am I gonna do? I was looking around for something with roses on it, and I'm like, well, but I can't compete with these roses, and I don't want something that's going to clash with them. So I thought, well, maybe I do just need to come up with something that is from the set. So I wish this wasn't so pretty all the way down because I could use this. I could cut that off and use this. I could cut this off. I don't know if I want it sticking up taller than the folio. Maybe this is too much like what I already have going on here. So maybe not that one. Maybe not. And then this one, remember, has those beautiful other kind of, this is more like a wild rose, I would call it. And it's a beautiful color, but it doesn't actually, I mean, it all goes together for sure, but I just feel like it needs to be its own thing. And remember, there's some other small pieces that go with it. So not that one. So now we're down to this one. And actually, it's not bad. I could cut this part off. You know, I just don't, I feel like I could use this somewhere, but not here. So I'm going to cut that band off. And then I'm going to decide if I want to use this or if I want to somehow get into this. Because I think that that will be something cool looking. And I'm not sure if I want that much bleh. I don't know. I'm gonna cut this bottom part off and see what I think. Okay, so I don't know. I wasn't that crazy about this piece. And I really actually I am crazy about it, but in its entirety. I didn't want to cut anything off. I didn't want to cut this off because that's so cool. The best new roses of 1893. I don't know. I think it needs to stay intact, and I really didn't want to make it that much bigger than the book itself. So that got vetoed. And then I decided, you know what? I want to use this. And it actually, I think it was trying to be upside down. But anyway, I cut this part off. But I'm just going to use this for something else. And who knows? Maybe I'll use part of that, or it may become something here. And so this also has this band down here. And if I cut that off, I'm getting pretty close to this, but I think I'm okay with that. So I'm going to cut that off, and then I'm going to cut a little bit of the top off. That could be another tuck pocket made out of that top part. So anyway, I'm just trying to make it to where it fits a little bit better, but I'm sure I'm going to create, I'm going to make it a tag, and it's going to have a ribbon or something. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, I am going with that. I figured out what I wanted to do here. So this is my tag, and it's going to go here, but I decided, since this isn't actually plain, but since it's just sort of not as interesting, why can't there be yet another tuck pocket? And it can be on the back of this, and we could tuck another little tag in here, like that one that I was talking about that was so cute here. That would be pretty there, or some other things. But anyway, this was imagine this was the front cover. It's the back of the front cover of the whole set. So there's all kinds of, different things going on the other side. Well, I shouldn't say that. This is the front cover. This is the other side of the front cover. And a lot of times Stamperia will do that and make their fussy cuts on the inside of their front cover and oftentimes on the inside of the back cover so that you're getting all of the paper you can, all of the images you can, and you're cutting up the whole thing. So you don't have to worry about, oh, well, there's a front cover and it's worthless. They're actually letting you use that. So I hope that makes sense. Anyway, it does to me because I think it's, pretty genius. And they do that most of the time. And I will say that sometimes the front covers actually have some pretty cool things that you can use. It's usually showing you like all the different pages and stuff, but if there's a big enough image of one of the pages, then you can cut that out and use it. So I have done that before, and that's why I know that. So there we go. A little glue going there. We're going to stick it right here. And I'm not sure. I was thinking about a grommet. I need to scoot over just a hair. A grommet for this, for my ribbon, for a ribbon. But I don't know. I think I'm just going to punch a hole and put a hole reinforcer. I tend to use those a lot lately. Yeah, that's cute. I don't know if this is what's going to get put in there or not, but that's awful cute. I don't know. I got to think about it. I still have these, and they fit in there, I think. Yeah, they do. That would be cute. Look at how pretty that one is. That one looks like I already... No, I thought it was inked, but it's not, and I know it's not because I haven't rounded the corners of it yet. And I very well could have inked it, but I didn't. I see that it's just them actually doing it. So maybe that goes there, or do we like that one? I don't know. I kind of like this one. I do like that one. Might be what we do. And we could, because we ended up with this extra piece from this. Remember, I cut that off. It could also be a little tag that could be used. Yeah. So I'm going to cut that down just a little bit because it's a little bit wide. Not by much. It's almost the same size as that one, but I'm going to trim it down just a hair. I think I want it like that. Okay, let me back up here. Let's get this guy ready because we know he's ready. So I'm going to round his corners. Get that done. And he's so cute. So get him inked. All right. Okay. We'll hide him in there for now because that's where he's going to go. And then this guy's going to go with him. And he's going to stick up just a little bit more. So that's good. Okay, I pulled him back out. And then I'm going to round his corners. And by the way, I used a different corner punch for this tag. So it's not the 3 bumps, but it's 2 bumps. So I kind of like that. Let's don't forget, I'm thinking this is the front, but it doesn't have to be. This could certainly be the front. I don't want to make this too thick because it's still got to go in that belly band, but it's looking good. So I think I'm gonna use this, and let's see, I think I'm just gonna go with a real plain rounding situation for it since I've already got so many other things going on. I've got pieces everywhere as usual. It's my favorite pastime is cleaning these off the desk and trying to get them in the trash can and usually throwing them in the floor for the most part. So let's see. Got my ink here. I'm not trying to overcomplicate this, but it is fun to have a little extra something, when you're giving this as a gift, or maybe you're, selling it. Sell it at a craft store, sell it at a craft fair, sell it on Etsy, whatever. It's always fun to have like a little hidden something, a little nugget, a little, what do they call it, an Easter egg. So that could go there. Yeah, but it needs something. So here's where I think we're going to be able to use, get my arm in here. I think we're going to be able to use one of these label type things on there. So something long, oblong, not, I need something vertical. So I'm just going to give it an ink. Okay. Yeah, see, that was either the back cover or the front cover, and it's the other side. Oh, I left my glue sitting out. Nope, it's going to be okay. I mean, I didn't have my lid, my pen in it, but it's actually okay. Getting all that on there. Okay, so what do I care? No. I could put it on that side. Let's do that. Actually, I like the idea of that. Let's put it right up here. Because I don't think I'm not gonna put a ribbon on it, or poke a hole in it or anything. I think it's just really just sort of a little tag, or just whatever. You can decide if you want it. It could be a bookmark, and it's gonna go right there. And so this whole thing is all decked out. Look at it. It's beautiful here. It's pretty. And then it's got a tuck pocket with a couple of little doodads in it. So that's pretty sweet. I like it. Everything, nothing sticking that shouldn't be. Okay. So I'm okay with that. So I'm going to close my glue up real quick and try not to stab myself. And then I'm going to grab my hole punch. And I'm just going to kind of use that centerpiece there as a guide, even though I really didn't think that was the center of that necessarily. All right, got that. Whoops, sorry. Trying to put things up as I go. And then I've got these little hole reinforcers. I like these little brown ones. And then I still like to come back and just sort of ink over them a little bit and give them a little grungy little something there. Nice. Okay. So I'm getting into the home stretch here. There's a lot more I could do for sure, but I want to come up with a ribbon. I feel like I want to stick something here. Maybe I want to do a little. This is so cute. You know what? Let me ink this really quick before I forget, because I am going to use it. And I'm going to take a piece of, I'm going to take a piece of pink. Ooh, that would be kind of pretty. I was thinking about taking a piece from the leftover copy paper and tearing it and putting it there. I could tear that up and use that. No, I want to use something a little more. Okay, I'm grabbing, I should actually have a piece somewhere right here. Something kind of grungy looking from the most recent thing that I did. Yeah, that would work. Okay, I'm gonna just use this. This is from a really old book that I just used recently on a project. This book was from 1888, I think, and it is crispy. So hopefully it's not going to disintegrate before I can use it all. We're going right there. Whoopsie. Is that what I want? I don't want to, I'm thinking I want to kind of do it like that. Okay. And it's a really interesting book. Perfect. I'm going to go get it and I'm going to show it to you because I talked about it now and you should see this. It is, ooh, it is called Frank Leslie's Popular Monthly, and this is the May 1888 issue. And it was $3. Oh, $3 a year. $3 per annum. But I showed a bunch of this in a previous video where I unboxed a bunch of stuff that I bought. I bought this at an antique mall. And look at that guy. The Emperor of Germany. They had emperors way back in 1797, I guess. Anyway, but it's a really interesting book and has some beautiful illustrations in it. And look, that's about Francis Scott Key, who wrote the Star Spangled Banner, or wrote the poem that is the Star Spangled Banner. But look at some of these illustrations in here. They're just so pretty, and you can hear it. It's just, there's where I tore a piece out. Look at that. I need to come up with whatever I'm going to do with that. But, you know, the printing, the words, the color, the illustrations, everything is just gorgeous. And, you know, I want to just, I mean, it's so bad. I don't even know. Like, I guess there was a cover and maybe some more pages, and it's just really in bad shape. But I want to preserve it in other ways. So, anyway, I digress. But we're going to use a little piece of it right here. So it lives on, and I love it when that happens. That's the whole point of really why I am into paper crafts so much, because it's all about repurposing, recycling. Okay, that looks really sweet. I'm doing that, and I'm gonna put this down with glue stick. Come on. I'm so afraid I'm gonna crack it. And that sounds like a strange thing to say for paper, to crack something. But it could crackle because it's crackly. I'm just going to go with this here, kind of a little further up into the corner. Okay, and then I'm going to come back with my other glue, since this is a card stock piece. I'm so happy to use some of these up. That was the whole point of this, was I was thinking, you know, it's sitting there, nothing's happening with it. It's sad that I'm not using it, so I think I'm going to try to leave it out on my table here, on my desk, my work surface, so that it, you know, is in my face and bothers me, and that I'll come back and use more of it. Maybe try to kind of use it up. I mean, I'm sure I'm not going to be able to use up all the little fussy cuts. Is that straight? It's so hard to tell when it's on something that's meant to be crooked, like that piece of paper there. But anyway, you know, I'll have fussy cuts left over for sure, but I'll use them in other projects, and who knows, I may get another set of these because I do love them, and I could just keep on keeping on. Okay, so I got a little swatch left over. I'm going to put it back where I got all that from. Okay, so now I really just need to kind of blow through putting my signature in, because I'm getting real close to being done, and I'm sure this is going on longer than I meant for it to, but you know, when you got to go off and show you a book and different things. But you know what? That's just how it's rolling in my head, and I just want to bring you guys along for it. So I'm going to get going on my signature and get puppy this puppy wrapped up. Okay, that went fairly well. Um, I was thinking about leaving some string dangling down and putting some beads or something, but I don't know. I think this needs to be fairly straightforward. I don't know, I just didn't want to mess with it. So I'm looking for some ribbon. I think I love this seam binding stuff. This one kind of goes a little bit kind of dusty rose, which is not bad. I also have, why is this stuck? This is stuck in here. How is that stuck? I also have something a little pinker. And I could go like really dark. And I could go green because there's a lot of green. That's a little too dark. I was thinking this. I think this is sweet. Dusty pink. Dusty pink from the Scrap Cabin shop. Love her stuff. I'm always talking about it. Need to put a link in the description to her Etsy shop. Yeah, I think that's beautiful, but that's another day. And I think that burgundy is another day. I think this is sweet. I think this will work. Where's the end of it? So, and I think I'm actually gonna use it. I don't normally do this. I think I'm gonna use it on the tag and on the, am I gonna use it on the tag? Or wouldn't some sweet green be sweet on the tag? Or I could use it on the tag and I could make the green be the, oh, see, this is where we get in trouble. Gotta think about it. And I think I have another green, but I don't think I have enough of it. Oh, maybe. Hang on, I do. Hang on. Okay, this is a mess, and this needs to be addressed at some point as to how messy the area that I keep these in is. Okay, there's that, which is beautiful. It's like a mossy, sagey color. Or I've got this kind of brighter, oh yeah, no. It's beautiful, but that's not in keeping. So that's not in keeping with that. So I'm going to put that over there. So I know we're going to use this pink for something, but now I'm thinking I could use, yeah, you know what? I think I do want to wrap it with the green just to give it a little contrast. So I'm just going to take a little bit of this pink, putting that over there because that's going to remind me that I need to take care of my issue with how I have the seam binding ribbon, whatever you want to call it, not in a good place. Not to where I can get to it easily and without making a huge mess of it. I have been cleaning on my desk and in my room here, but that is something that I haven't addressed yet, so I need to do that. I'm just trying to get that kind of, I without breaking the paper, ripping the paper. Let's see, what's it doing here? There we go. Yeah, this stuff is so sweet. And that color is great and a little frayed there, so I'm just going to take a little bit off. I don't really mind that, but since the other side is a clean cut, we might as well just make them both clean cuts. So I think I've kind of decided that this is the front of this instead of this. Doesn't matter. Actually, it is kind of fun to have it there, and then nobody knows until they turn it over that it's got, you know, little extra little nuggets in there. Nuggets. Okay, so I like that. Let's go ahead and get this assembled before I wrap it up. And I do need to wrap it up. Let's get our little guys up here. They could be poking out a little bit if they wanted to, but they don't have to be. And then we're going to put these guys down here. Oh, I don't want to cover that birdie up. Let's make him be in the front. Yeah. Okay, this is sweet. Got my little grungy signature in here. My little hairy pages that are cut weird. My little tag in my belly band. Beautiful front and back that I'm not doing anything to. Actually, I might add something right here. Maybe something like that with a little, yeah, that may have to happen. Okay, I don't know. But right now I'm worried about how much ribbon I need to wrap this around, because it does have a little bit of a, it's not like my other one that was laying flat. It's still sitting over here for my inspiration. It's laying flat, and this might eventually, but let's see what we're looking at. This is, I don't think I want to, I don't know. I don't think I want to wrap around it. I think I just want to kind of make it to where I can just do a bow. So I'm going to cut it there. And then I still have a great piece of it right there. So that goes over there. But I am going to very gingerly stick this under here, under my waxed thread of my spine, just to kind of give it something to hold on to so you don't, lose it when you undo it. Am I too close? And there. So it's there. So when you take it, you've still got it attached, is what I mean. So that's a good thing. So like this, and I probably drive a lot of people crazy because I'm left-handed and I probably make my bows a different way than you would. I'm just gonna get my bow going. Just do one. There we go. Oh yeah, that's cute. It could even be a little bigger like that. So it's just sort of, that's sweet. Look at how sweet it looks. Yeah, so I think something either here or here would be apropos for this process, this application, as I like to say. Okay, so I did want to say that swatch of paper that I used for underneath that allegedly round cutout, that I'm not saying is round anymore because I kept cutting. Anyway, that piece underneath there is not from that other book. It is from a different book, but it was what was on top in that drawer where I found those pieces, and that's what I went with. So we're going to do that. And now my bow is acting all weird, but that's okay. But isn't that sweet? So there you go. I'm liking it. I may give this to my mom. She would love this. She won't say no, I'll tell you that. So we've got our ribbon. It's attached, so we don't have to worry about it getting away. We've got our embellishment in the front. We've got our tuck pockets with our cute little tags. We've got our signature. Not doing anything to this because, just write in it or glue things to it or whatever. Got my little belly band going here. Got my little tag. And there's our little nuggets. We're calling them nuggets. Our cute little tags that are tucked away in a tuck pocket that's hidden away. All right. So anyway, I know there's a million of these out there and a million videos about it, but you know what? This one's mine. And this is my story about it. And I love these. And I'm going to continue to use them and enjoy them. And this was a lot of fun and a good way to spend a hot morning inside where it's not so hot. And there we have it. So thank you so much for sticking with me and watching this. And let me know if you have any questions or comments. I always love to hear from folks who also love Stamperia stuff and or anything. And anyway, just give me a shout. And otherwise, I will see you in the next video.